Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
Yeah, welcome back to the class. Today we'll be talking about formation of quadratic equations with given roots. Formation of quadratic equations with given roots. Okay, right. So we'll be using some examples. You know, but when we solve quadratic equations, sometimes we end up with two outcomes. Okay, so when we end up with two outcomes, those two outcomes are the roots of the equations. And then what we're saying here is that you can move from using the roots of the equations to formulate the equations itself. You can move from using the roots of the equations to formulate the equations itself. I wish we can go back to previous examples that we did, so we can use some illustrations there to formulate a quadratic equation. Okay, right, let us use outcomes we obtained from our previous class, on factorization. Example number 2, we had outcomes that x is equal to minus 1 over 3 or x is equal to 4. Okay, all right. So how do we go about this? All we have to do on the part of factorization is that we have to multiply these two numbers. Back and add them together to find the given equation, to find the equations back. Okay, so how do we start? Remember, you're given that x is equal to minus 1 over 3 and that x is equal to 4. Okay, you have to move the constants back to come and be with x, so that the equations will be equal to 0. So if you move the constant back and they cross the equality sign, this becomes x plus 1 over 3 is equal to 0. Okay, or this becomes x minus 4 is crossing an equality sign is equal to 0. So the two brackets you need are this and this. All right, so you have x plus 1 over 3 be multiplied by x minus 4. We'll see whether this will get us back to our previous equations. All right, the method of expansion still remains the same, like we talked about in your previous classes. In your class titled simple equations, you can go back there and find out how we multiply two brackets. Okay, both are equal to 0. And so how do we go about this? X multiplies x, and then you have x squared, and so x multiplies 4, you have minus 4x. Okay, and then you have x multiplying, okay, we've done with x, and so minus 3 multiplies, and so you have plus 1 over 3x, right? And 3 multiplies minus 4, you have minus, negative times negatives. Okay, minus 4 over 3. All right, so I think we is equal to 0. They are all equal to 0. All right, so let me pick my values. X squared minus I have x squared minus 4x plus 1 over 3x, 4x plus 1 over 3x. Okay, and minus 4 over 3 is equal to 0. There are two ways for solving this. You can solve the two fractions. You can decide to solve the two fractions by using a long division method, or you can solve using finding a common factor. Okay, and then using your LCM to find the denominator of the equation. Or you can solve simply by multiplying. Since the denominator there is 3, both denominators are 3, you can multiply by 3. I mean multiply all sides, that is all sides of the equation by 3. Okay, good. And which is the easiest way of solving this. So this becomes 3 times x squared, okay, minus 4x times 3, right? plus 1 over 3x times 3 minus 4 over 3 times 3, okay, equal to 0 times 3. Okay, yeah, and this becomes 3x squared minus you have 3 times 4, you have 12x. Okay, and at this part you have 3 dividing 3 through, and you have 1x minus, you have 3 into this, you have 4, and then 0 times 3 is 0. So at this point you have 3x squared minus 12x minus 1x will give you plus 1x give you 11x squared. You owe 12 naira and you pay 1 naira, you still owe 11 naira for x is equal to 0. Good. At this point you can see we've gone back to the previous equation we had, ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, all right, so this is how you factorize, sorry, this is how you determine the equation of the quadratic by using the roots of the equations you've obtained. So we can take the following examples. I will say further examples. Okay, we'll take 1 to be equal to the roots of the equations. The roots of the equations are given as follows. Okay, you have 2 whole number 1 over 2 and minus 1 over 2. We have minus 4 and minus 1, and number 3 we have 2 and minus 5. Okay, so you have to determine the quadratic equations. Determine the quadratic equations. Okay, so we start with the first one. We are given solution I, and you're given 2 whole number 1 over 2 and 1 over 2 as the roots of the equation. So all you have to do is to get back to what equations used to be. This is 2 whole number x equal to 2 whole number 1 over 2, and this is x equal to 1 over 2. Okay, so you can go back to making them equations, and then you have this to be equal to 0, and when you get back to this, x is equal to minus 2, sorry, that should be 2, 1 over 2, not just minus, it's positive 1 over 2. All right, so and this gives you back that x minus 1 over 2 is equal to 0. And so the two brackets we need are this and this. We multiply them together, you have x 1 over 2 equal to 0. Alright, maybe I have to repeat this too because that's not actually what I wanted to write. So I have 1 over 2, good, and so I have x minus 1 over 2 to all equal to 0. Okay, x times x at this point gives me x squared. Our multiplication starts, and then remember what we said about the multiplication, x takes on x first and comes back and takes on 1 over 2, and the same thing happens here. This takes on x, so x taking over the first x, we have x squared, and then taking on 1 over 2, we have minus 1 over 2x, and then 2 whole number 1 over 2 taking on x, you have minus 2 whole number 1 over 2 x, on the this taking on this 2, you have minus 2 whole number 1 over 2. Okay, minus times minus gives you plus, so the sign changes, and then you have on the 1 over 2. All right, I think this computation looks complex. I'm going to make it easier for you. How do I make it easier? I go back to my brackets, x. Okay, I get back to this point. Yeah, I have x. I'll convert this to an improper fraction, and then I have 2 times 2, 4 plus 1, 5 over 2. Okay, in this bracket, and then I have x minus 1 over 2. I think it looks easier to compute this with this rather than this, although they are the same thing. Okay, and so I can make the multiplications clearer. I can make it clearer. Remember what we said, that x multiplies x, you have x squared, and then x goes into 1 over 2, and then you have minus 1 over 2x, and then x is done with multiplying the brackets. Then 5 over 2 begins with x again, and then you have minus 5 over 2x, and then 5 over 2 goes into 1 over 2, and so you have plus 5 over 2 and 1 over 2 all equal to 0. So you have x squared minus 1 over 2x minus 5 over 2x, okay, plus you have 5 times 1, you have 5 2 times 2, 4 equal to 0. Alright, when you take LCM of 2, 2 and 4, you have that the LCM there will be equal to LCM will be equal to 4. Okay, so we have to multiply by the LCM. We have to multiply by the LCM, and so we have x squared times 4. Okay, and this becomes 1 over 2x times 4, and this becomes 5 over 2x times 4 again, and this becomes 5 over 4 times 4, and this becomes 0 times 4. Alright, this gives you 4x squared. 2 can go into 4, so you have minus 2x, and 2 can go into 4, and here you have 2 times 5 is 10x, and so at this point 4 can go into 4, and then 5 comes down, and then 0 times 4 is 0, and so we have 4x squared minus 2x minus 10 gives you minus 12x plus 5 equal to 0. Okay, so sometimes you try out to factorize the value you have here to see whether you can get back to the factors that you've been given as 5 over 2 and 1 over 2. So this is the equation that when you factorize it, it gives you these roots. Alright, we go over to solution 2. Solution 2. Okay, and in 2 we are given x to be equal to minus 4 and x to be equal to minus 1. We can simply say x minus 4 is equal to 0, and then x minus 1 2 is equal to 0. So the two brackets we have are this and this equal to 0, and so we have x times x, x squared, x times minus 1x, 4 times minus 4 times x gives minus 4x, 4 minus 4 times minus 1 gives plus 1 equal to 0, and so you have x squared minus you have minus 5x, you're owing 1 naira, you borrow 5 naira, 4 naira, you'll be owing 5 naira, so plus 1 is equal to 0. So sorry, should that be 1? 4, sorry, should be 4 rather, because minus 4 times 1 is plus 4. Alright, so this gives the equation for those two roots. Solution 3. Solution 3, we are told that the roots of the equation are 2 and minus 5, so which implies that x is equal to 2 or x is equal to minus 5. Okay, So and if x is equal to 2, you can as well write that x minus 2 equal to 0, and this becomes x plus 5 equal to 0. So bringing the two brackets together, we have this equal to 0, and x minus 5. I guess that's wrong. I inverted the two signs. Let's change them. This x minus 2 and have x plus 5 all equal to 0. Okay, x times x is x squared, x times 5 is plus 5x. Okay, and then minus 2 times x is minus 2x, minus 2 times 5 is minus 10 all equal to 0. X squared 5 minus 2 plus 3x minus 10 is equal to 0. So this becomes the equation for the two roots. Okay, so this is a quadratic equation whose roots, when being factorized, will give minus 2 and plus 5. Thank you for being part of the class. Have a nice day. Goodbye.